So, when Paul and I were prepping the show, we talked with a bunch of other experts from the Veeam team because a lot of us have been trying to kind of organize what our recommendations are for the organizations that we work with. And we wanted to first set the stage of what we mean by data sovereignty and why it is such a complex issue. Of course, what comes top of mind if you read a newspaper, get push alerts to your phone, that Black Mirror, is the constant change to geopolitical and regulatory compliance requirements. Certainly there's any number of recent acts that you can take a look at. And they impact a bunch of different controls, not just the location of the data. It also talks about who has access to it, who can touch it, what does that contract look like? Is there a service that can get shut off for any kind of reason? So we're going to break apart what that kind of data sovereignty experience looks like. But to make sure that we understand the stakes at hand, I think it's good to remember that a lot of organizations now, especially those that are multinational, have some pretty overnight risk exposure. It seems like every day there is some change happening to regulatory compliance changes. So Paul, I know you spend a lot of time with folks in the field. For those that don't know Paul, he leads our solution architecture team in EMEA. And your team spends a lot of time working with organizations trying to deal with these sorts of challenges. What's top of mind for them? What's creating a lot of that complexity?
It is complexity, totally complexity. The last icon, the umbrella, really does sum up sovereignty because there is you can say sovereignty is who owns the data from a governance and legal perspective, but there's so much more underneath it. People are really frightened of that complexity. In Europe, we have 37 core countries, and you can work in one country, your data can be in the next country, it can be processed in the next, and there's a fear of getting caught out. So risk is a big impact when it comes to how do we deal with sovereignty.
I think that risk part of it is big, right? And a lot of folks don't necessarily know how long their exposure is. And I also think, this is the kind of strategy that many organizations are having a hard time assembling because it's not just an IT issue. This can be a cybersecurity issue. This can be a legal issue. This can be a GRC issue. It really stretches a lot of places, and it is 10 times more complicated when you think about all of the different third-party vendors that we work with.